I'd like to, once again, as we think about today's message, the truth about God's discipline, I want to review some of the common misconceptions. I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions about God's discipline. When you think about it, some people confuse discipline and punishment. You know, discipline and punishment are not the same. There are people sitting in jail cells today, and they're awaiting further trial, perhaps, and then many of them will be thrown into prison. Some of them will be on death row. Some of them will get the death penalty, even as we speak. By the time we're done today, perhaps someone has experienced that even close by. These sort of things happen when people are punished. And punishment is different from discipline. We're looking at the Olympics right now. You're seeing a lot of evidence of discipline in these Olympic athletes, aren't you? I mean, some of these people are taking their goal pretty seriously. And you've heard, as the commentators speak about these athletes, you've heard their stories. The stories of dedication and commitment and discipline, and then sometimes they interview the coaches, and the coaches tell you more. The coaches have been involved in the discipline. So what we find is that discipline is training for the future. It's not punishment for the past. And that's going to be a very important recalibration for us today as we look at a passage on God's discipline. I want to address two things at the outset. First of all, God's discipline is training for the future, not punishment for the past. And secondly, God's discipline is not a reaction to sin. Did you know that God is not reactionary? You can't catch God by surprise. You know, He's already seen ahead of time any sins and every sin that we would ever commit. You know, He looked down the timeline of your sins, and He did something 2,000 years ago, just at the right time. Christ died, but for these sins way up here. And you can't catch the God of the universe by surprise. Even if you hide around a corner and say, boo, He's not going to flinch. He's not flinching. So the point of this is that God is not reactionary. And that discipline is not reactionary, like, oh my gosh, I didn't see that one coming, now I'm going to have to get involved. That's not God's discipline. In fact, we're going to find that we are always under the discipline of the Lord. But the problem is the word discipline for some of us, if there's hundreds of people